Hey guys, welcome to group chat. You got me and Anand today. Dee's out on the road, and we got a lot to talk about. It's our new middle of the week episode. The goal here is to we like to go tinfoil hat and full debate and argument on Sundays. Wednesdays we try to fill you in on what's going on, talk about the news, give you some stuff to maybe talk about around the water cooler. Or just kind of generally know what's going on in the world. So we have a good episode full of news. We got some stock stuff. We're going to, minorly kind of check in on this whole, war thing that we've been doing for a while now. There's some political stuff really starting to heat up. We're going to have 18 months of hot episodes about political topics because it's just going to be fuckery. And I think it's getting started. I think it started with the CNN town hall, and we're rolling.
Tonight's another escalation of the fuckery.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, you ready, Anand?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Hey, Anand.
What's going on?
D took off, huh? It was too unfair, me and D beating up on you, so D's going to sit this one out.
Yeah, I got a lot of DMs that D was just being a bully.
Here's a bully. Now I see how your childhood went. And you want to know what? I would just like to apologize.
Yeah, it was miserable.
Yep. I know D won't apologize. I'd like to apologize on behalf of D and everything he put you through. Because if that was my older brother and, his style of comedy and roasting, I don't think I would be okay with it.
So I had lunch with Chad yesterday, who listens to the pod, and he wants to come on, and he's heard us ask, and we got to figure that out.
Yep.
And he said, I can now very vividly just see how your childhood was with D after Sunday's episode.
I agree. I wish I could have been there to intervene from time to time.
Yeah, we needed a mediator.
You turned out great. All that bullying, I would say, if anything, you're a case for bullying can make a great adult.
It's true. Maybe we should bring bullying back.
Maybe. Look at you.
Yeah, I did
You're
fine.
doing great. Okay, you want to know who else is doing fine? Ron DeSanctimonious. He's about to go with Elon. He's, by the time you guys hear this, it will have happened. It's about to happen in present, moment. So we don't know what happened, but what are they doing? Are they announcing his presidential run on Twitter? Is that what's happening? And why is Elon involved? Is he interviewing him? What are they doing?
So he's officially already filed the paperwork to run.
Got it.
So that's already done. So he's running. And Elon is doing a Twitter Spaces discussion with DeSantis and David Sachs from the All In Pod, venture capitalist, is hosting it and moderating it. So is it a conversation? This is what I'm really curious about. And it's going to sound dated because it would have already happened by the time this comes out. But why is there Elon and David Sachs?
That's a good question. Maybe since David Sachs is a outspoken Republican. Actually, I'm going to be really quick here because we're going to sound really dumb. Maybe because David Sachs is like the outspoken Republican, he's going to actually do the interviewing, and he's obviously supportive of him. I think it sounds like from what I've heard, he's obviously not like a big Trump guy, but he is a Republican. So he's probably a big DeSantis guy. And maybe Elon, I don't know. We'll see. But what a crew.
And I was watching CNBC this morning, and there was a lot of outrage that Twitter is supposed to be what Elon and David Sachs and everyone has preached pre the acquisition, that it's the town hall where everything kind of just happens freely, and we need to keep that sacred. That was the big reason why Elon was supposed to purchase Twitter.
Yeah.
Elon having the owner of the company, having one of the leading Republican candidates, makes the conservative media.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if Biden says, no, I don't want to do it. you're only having one side. And this isn't what the platform is doing. This is what the owner is doing.
But the only thing that I disagree with what you just said is, to me, as long as they offer equal airtime and equal, like if Elon's on this call, Elon has to be on that call, even if it's Gavin Newsom, but whoever, they have to give equal. Now, to me,
but that's not the product. That's not the product. That's what happens on like debates where you have equal airtime. Each candidate gets to say. That's like what CNN has to do. That's what all these people. Those are media companies. This is a platform for people and whatever they want to discuss. It shouldn't be guided by the owner. Is my point.
Yeah. I think what I'm just a fan of is like, let's just use like the physical example. If someone said, I'm going to actually make the town square, right? It's on fucking Sunset and La Brea, right? This is the town square for LA. And as the owner of the town square, I'm going to bring in people who are very relevant to the town square's needs or desires or wants, but I'm going to make sure that I bring in or offer equal time. The offer has to be equal. That's my opinion. I know you and I see it a little differently, but I think like it's cool that like, hey, here at the town square, we're hearing from presidential candidates. That's awesome. As long as it's not guided or, you know what I'm saying?
If Tucker Carlson did the spaces with Twitter spaces with DeSantis and David Sachs, that's actually way more palatable than the owner doing it.
Yeah, I agree. As long as, but to me, I agree with you. But if the owner had the same tone and the same questions for a Democrat, I would be okay with it.
So Jason Calacanis was arguing with a lot of people from the media because the media was questioning, why is he doing this on Twitter? And it has nothing to do with my point. My point was different. Like, why isn't he doing this on Fox or CNN? And then his argument was he'll get triple the views on Twitter Spaces. It's a bigger platform. And he just said, like, the mainstream media is scared of this happening. And then the speculation on CNBC from some of the guests was, this is Elon's push for Rupert Murdoch to buy Twitter and bail him out because Twitter's not a good business.
Oh, it makes sense. I mean, look, any of it could be true. I have no fucking idea.
Can you imagine if Fox owned Twitter?
Yeah, I could.
No, but I mean imagine what
I know,
the cause and effect of that is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Look, all I know is if you give the same energy to the other side, I'm okay with it. But I also think to be honest with you, I think the Democrats have made some errors in the past of not like, instead of saying, okay, great, now we want the same airtime. They've instead like sort of tried to tear it down and then end up not doing it. And so what ends up happening, like, to me, this might be a crazy jump, but it feels similar to like the Joe Rogan issue. Like, in my opinion, one of the biggest Democratic fumbles in the last 5 years has been shunning Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
When, he had Bernie Sanders on, he probably would have been willing to have more Democrats on, but instead of embracing him and maybe, leveraging that platform, they shunned him. And he's an outspoken Democrat, or was. And I just feel like they might do the same thing here. Like, instead of like being like, all right, Elon, give us the same airtime, or else, we'll let that be known. I feel like they're going to shun Elon and not take advantage of the opportunity. If we had like a big interview fucking runoff going on Twitter, that would be sick.
I also think that the Democrat strategy, and you can argue, is this productive for the country, is to do nothing and just watch Trump and DeSantis tear each other down and get everyone disgusted about the games that they're playing. And this isn't the climate we need to be in. Because I think people love the fuckery for the entertainment value, but don't want the country to be run that way. Meaning, all the crazy stuff Trump said on CNN obviously got all the views, all the clips. It's all over everywhere.
Yeah.
But people don't really want someone with that temperament running the country. And I think the Democrats are just going to be quiet.
So I think you're right on what the Democrats are going to do, but I think that my opinion is I think that's a terrible mistake. I think that CNN example is a good example of why they're fucking up. And I think people will vote for it, because if the alternative was calm and cool and under control, no chance we would go back to Trump. But I think the perception of Biden is so not good that you need an answer to that. And if the answer happens to be a little fucking nuts, well, fuck it. At least we're doing something. At least we're going to get out of Ukraine, so he says, or at least we're going to blah, blah, blah. At least someone has solutions, because right now, I don't know. That's just my read on it. Like, I think the same way Trump shocked us in 2016, I don't even feel like it would be that big of a shock in 2024 if we were wrong and people were down for the fuckery, because whatever, at least someone's working.
I mean, I'm more excited about the DeSantis Trump. Like, does DeSantis have the courage to because Trump's going to go nuts after today. Now that DeSantis is officially in the race.
Yep. Yeah.
The kid gloves
they might tear
off.
each other down. You're right.
The kid gloves are off. He's going to call him short. He's going to call him fat. He's going to call him everything. Like, I mean, I don't even know if he's short, but Trump's a big ass dude. Like,
yeah.
He's a bully. Talk about bullies. That's why D is MAGA now.
Yeah, you're right. He's not here, so we can say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. There's a chance they tear each other down. Look, it's a strategy. It scares the shit out of me, but it is a strategy.
Yeah, I can't believe there's not one other Democratic candidate that's even hinted at the presidency.
I know. That's why. I mean, you have Marianne Williamson and fucking whoever else. But
with someone with national recognition.
I'm just saying, so to me, this is how I read it. In 2016, I thought Trump was a joke to everyone and there was no way he would ever get elected. And I was wrong. In 2020, it did feel like everyone was so exhausted with Trump. There's just no way he can win, right? We're all sick of it. In 2000, leading into 24, I'm shocked at how accepted Trump feels. Like we talked about, I don't know if we talked about this on the pod or whatever we have before, like the Full Send kids doing interviews with him, or Aiden Ross walking up to him at the UFC thing, or the way that I hear my friends talking, or the way that like people are, I think, seriously, not in a joking way, being like, yeah, Trump's back. And that is fucking crazy. And it worries me.
And the interesting thing about all these people, it's really just the presentation. They don't like Biden, tripping on a stair. They don't like the way he presents himself in interviews, but they like the feistiness and the quick wit of Trump. Nothing has to do with policy.
No, but I think that to your average person, look, I'm not saying this is Biden's fault, but it's the war in Ukraine, it's inflation, it's the economy. I think all of those, like whether it makes any sense or not, to your average person, when Trump was in office, GameStop was popping, everyone was getting rich, NFTs, we were all getting stimmies. Those were the good old days. And I know that those are not directly connected, but to most people, most voters, they equate those two things. And you have one guy
whoever's
who's
in power,
tripping upstairs, dealing with inflation, at war with Ukraine. And then you have another guy who's fucking roasting everybody. And that was part of the good old days. And I think we both know that that's not the rational conclusion, but I think that that's how most people see it.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild next 18 months.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I have officially, I mean this, shifted my desires because I was too let down by wanting like good outcomes. And I do truly just want the most entertaining outcome, because what the fuck else are we going to do? At least we have something great to podcast about and joke with our friends. And the next 18 months are about to be such good content.
Yep.
And what else are you going to do? All you can do is, like you said, like enjoy your loved ones, go on trips when you're invited, embrace life. You don't know how long it's going to last, and fucking buckle up and enjoy the shit show, because you're not going to change it, is my opinion.
We've just basically completely devalued The Office, because I don't think anyone gives a shit.
No, I don't. I think it's like watching The Bachelor and rooting for your favorite fucking member. Like, yeah, I'm going to root for the most entertaining, but I don't fucking care. What's it going to matter?
Yeah.
What change are you going to make?
It's very scary.
Either way, fun times. Look, fun times ahead. And even though, who knows, world might be ending. We might, just be in a nuclear war here in a couple of weeks. But damn it, it's exciting.
Yep.
Okay. What do you want to talk about? Let's get into some news. Energy. We're having some energy movement. There were some natural gas movements at the beginning of this Ukraine-Russia war. Russia obviously controls a lot of that, so things became really expensive. We heard all these stories. This also is a good reminder for me. Like, we heard all these stories of like Europe's not going to make it through the winter and blah, 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 and this is going to be devastating. And now here we sit today. Whole countries weren't frozen to death, and energy prices are starting to drop. What's going on?
Yeah, so I think that's a good reminder that it's really tough to take media seriously.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, the stories that were being written, and this is in every platform, Wall Street Journal to CNN to Fox, that Germany was going to freeze to death because of the Russia-Ukraine war.
Yeah.
And Eastern Europe was going to be in complete shambles. And what it turns out is demand has actually softened. China's economy hasn't picked up the steam that everyone thought. And natural gas prices are down. And they call it a mild winter, but it couldn't be that mild where they didn't need natural gas.
Yeah.
And
if we pulled some of those articles, it would be pretty mind-blowing. And I believed it. I was like, damn, man, this fucking war. I
thought that was going to be the reason why the war stopped.
Yeah.
Because they'd come to a truce. And this wasn't that long ago. This was like last fall.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I do want to, like, even just for myself, I want to like write that down and be like, hey, here's another reminder that like this shit is all overblown and clicky. It's just looking for clicks, man. I don't know, unless maybe it really looked that way and things change. I don't know, but it just feels like every day, if you check your phone or you check social media or whatever, like there are 5 reasons why the world is ending every day.
Yeah, it's
so
scary
unhealthy.
because it's like total, like massive publications. These aren't like fringe. These aren't fringe publications. I'm on both sides. We're saying this, by the way. This wasn't like it wasn't a liberal take or a Republican take.
Yeah.
It was actually supposed to be the down the middle take. Like, here are the ramifications of this war.
Which, by the way, I mean, you said this before we started recording, but like, what's going, like, are we at war forever now? Or like, I feel like we're not really checking in much anymore.
It doesn't it's not a leading topic when I go on Twitter anymore.
No.
I don't watch MSNBC or CNN or Fox News. So maybe they're talking about it over there. But the way I consume news, if I go on Wall Street Journal, none of the first 5 articles even mention the war.
Yeah, no, not at all. I feel like I hear about it once every 2 weeks now. Or like even that Pentagon leak was like a pretty big story, like meaning the reality of what that was and what those documents said were pretty like a big deal. But I feel like we didn't really talk about it much.
Do you think it's just fatigue because Europe didn't freeze?
Yeah.
Gas prices have come down and everyone's like, not my problem. And sad. I'm not like kind of minimizing the people who are dying every day there.
Yeah.
But everyone cared because they thought it was going to be our problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's this weird relationship between like reality and like impressions, which is like how reality is shown. And, if the war stops trending on ratings, you move on. That doesn't mean you can actually move out of the country. It doesn't mean the war is actually over, but the media, you just move on. They're not going to ride that war into ratings zero. They're going to fucking move on. I mean, how long were we in Afghanistan? You didn't hear about it on the news every week.
Yeah, CNN basically saw talking about the war isn't trending, so they brought Donald Trump on for a town hall.
Yes. Which is so like, damn it, man. You made this mistake already once. But like, everyone's going to be talking about Ron DeSantis tonight.
Yeah.
They're going to talk about Trump for the next, who knows, fucking 18 months. But like, yeah, I think it's just crazy because like the same amount of people are dying, the same amount of devastation is happening, the same risk is present. Like, oh, we were going to go to nuclear war any day. That's still a risk if it ever was. But if it's not getting the ratings, it's like, let's bring old Donald on and fucking interview him.
If it's not affecting Americans directly, I don't think Americans care. Because if you rewind to January and February of 2020 before COVID hit America, no one really talked about it here.
Yeah.
You'd have to like dig a little to like hear about China and what those numbers were. People were just like, oh, there's something going on over there. Not my problem.
Yeah.
Like no one's behavior changed. I was probably the only person in America saying like, this is coming and it's going to really shut down our country.
Yeah. You've been good at that. You said the same thing about Drake.
Yep. COVID
this
and
is
Drake.
coming. This is coming from Canada and it's going to shut down our country. Yeah, man. It's crazy. I don't know, but I think the energy thing we can look at as good news. I mean, countries didn't freeze to death. That seems to be stabilizing. It's just, I don't know, the thought of like another, let's just say even it's a 5-year war, or it's just wild the way that we do this stuff.
Yep. No.
Okay. Next up, guess who is on fire? Abercrombie and Fitch. Never thought I'd be saying those words past 2005. Their stock is crushing. So I don't know the details here. I'm going to look to you for that. But Abercrombie and Fitch was obviously huge when I was in high school. It seems like they've been trying for years now to like get back, and get things rolling again. Are we back? Is Abercrombie and Fitch back?
So they went from losing 16 million last year, the same quarter, to profitable 16 million.
Okay.
It's quite a turnaround. And they've raised their guidance for the year and they've kind of revamped their image. I went on their site and it's massively different than what we're used to. So like the first image, if you click on the men's section, is an Asian guy wearing Abercrombie clothes. And it's not the big logos that we were used to seeing. And, when we were in high school, Abercrombie would have males standing in front of the store with their shirts off.
Yep.
And 6-packs, blonde hair, blue-eyed. Yep. And that was the image they wanted to portray.
Yep.
And their CEO, they were showing comments from 2006 saying, our brand is for attractive males. If you're not a good-looking, attractive male, you're not our customer. The CEO said this in 2006.
That guy was nuts. There's like photos of that guy. That guy's fucking crazy. But I mean, hey, it worked so well then.
How amazing is that you could say that in 2006? It's not that long ago. I mean, it was like 17 years, but still. It's a long. We were adults still back then.
Yep. And didn't they used to put out like catalogs that were like had full nudity in it? That was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
I
don't know
like,
if it was full nudity, but
I don't know, like full. Sorry, that's not what I meant. I meant like tits.
It was like half naked people, all that shit. And now they revamped. Kudos to their team to figure this out because I thought they were toast. I think everyone did. And the stock popped 30% today, which is for a company like that. You hear that in like tech, a blowout earnings in tech of like a growth stock. You can get a 30% pop, not a traditional apparel brand.
I mean, when it comes to business, so like if you listen to this podcast, you're, most likely interested in businesses and how to. Also, I would guess that probably 80% of our audience is aware of Abercrombie and Fitch and the old Abercrombie and Fitch that we're talking about, the topless dudes and the whole thing. Go on their website today at some point. It's really interesting. I just clicked on their website, like as you were talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, a gay couple kissing a larger woman. It is so different. And when it comes to like, I don't know, I mean, just there's something interesting here about like pivoting a brand, and it's early to tell, but it seems to be working. And man, I mean, like you said, kudos to them for like having such a strong brand, but in a totally different direction. And then making this pivot. And it seems that young people are buying into it. I mean,
Yeah, everything's multiracial if you look at the site.
yeah, it looks like a poster board for like 2023. You know, like it looks like they covered every base in like a quick video montage. Good for them. I mean, wow. I do got to say, like, props to them. I understand it's a totally different world than what I'm in, but 16 million on 836 million of revenue just is fucking crazy, man. Like, meaning there's so much money being burnt up there.
So there's room for improvement.
Lots of it. I mean, 836 million in revenue. And once again, props to them because it was minus 16 million, but it's just crazy businesses of that size and like how.
I know they make high quality clothes, and it's not cheap. If you go look at the prices.
Yeah.
I'm really curious, like, is it just someone like, oh, this is a good button up or
gotta be
Great Henley?
It's got to be like, yeah, like I just need a good, you know, kind of on trend button up for the thing I'm going to tonight or the whatever. And they're a good home for that.
Yeah, it's impressive. I would have never thought it. Good for them.
It does seem like they're a couple rappers away or whatever it may be from like it being cool. Maybe they already are. I don't know. But it just feels like, I don't know. I could see Abercrombie like having a cool comeback, you know, where you want to young kids, you know, like, I don't know, Lil Uzi's wearing it and the young kids want to wear their Abercrombie. I don't know. It just feels
and because
doable.
the old Abercrombie was logo driven. It had the big Fitch or Abercrombie and Fitch. You wanted to like show that you were wearing it. I will say from the Valley, it was in high school the most stolen brand from kids in my high school. Everyone would just go in there, rip off the security tag, and walk out with their Abercrombie.
Same. I bet you they were breaking stolen goods records long before 2023. Now everyone's doing it. Now everyone in their earnings report, I feel like now has like, here's how much was stolen.
So with regards to theft in 2022, Target lost $500 million in theft. Walmart lost $3 billion.
Oh boy. So you're telling me that three times as much stuff was stolen from Walmart as what Abercrombie sold.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I also feel like,
how many businesses do $3 billion in revenue? They just lost that in theft. There's so few businesses that do $3 billion in revenue.
Don't you think, though, if you're over in the accounting department, there's a really good way to kind of
hide it,
move some numbers around and put it in the theft category?
I think they want to brag about it because it's not showing that things aren't moving.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Like if you count theft, they did $3 billion more in revenue.
Right.
Yeah, man, that's so crazy. Well, that's what I was saying. I think Abercrombie probably had those numbers back in like 2002, way before it was cool. Yeah. Their theft must have been off the charts.
For sure.
Okay, next up, Foot Locker, not opposite of Abercrombie, going downhill.
So 70% of Foot Locker's sales come from Nike. And I don't know if this is a Nike issue as much as it's a Foot Locker issue. Are kids going to Foot Locker? Like when I was a teenager, it was obvious. Like you go to the mall, you go check out Foot Locker, you check out Foot Action, which doesn't exist anymore. But and you see which Nikes are where, which sports merchandise, and you want to get your favorite team. That's all gone because Fanatics has a monopoly on sports merchandise. And Nike, you can get either directly from Nike.com, any Nike store, or GOAT or StockX, and you can find deals there. So is this more of a business issue? Because Nike stock went down very marginally, but they tried to say like, oh, this is headwinds for Nike. I think it's just Foot Locker's not a great business anymore, and you can find the same stuff everywhere.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that also what I see is like, number one, like the experience of like the Nike app is really good. Like I order stuff from there all the time and it's really easy. It comes really quick. I think that like you can get access to the cooler, hotter, newer shoes. So why would you, like something goes on the shelf at Foot Locker, they probably bought it a year earlier. By the time it got there, it's just not cool. It's not unique. Or you can get the thing that just dropped on Nike.com. I just don't think it's very competitive. I think Nike should just buy Foot Locker and just all of a sudden have however many stores. Like those are Nike stores is what you're saying. Those are just shitty Nike stores. And
they're probably not getting the best product.
No, there's no way. And I mean, I don't know if that's even a business model they want, but you could literally overnight, however many stores Foot Locker has, you could just have Nike stores and make them better, put better product in there. And that's all they're selling fucking Nikes and then shoelaces is what that tells me. Like,
yep. And probably some private label t-shirts because I know they have those.
I used to buy a lot of those when I was a kid. A lot of Foot Locker tees. Yeah, I agree. I just don't think it's a great business. I don't know. Look, I guess anything can be, there's a strategy you could try to use, but it just feels so dated. And it doesn't, when you walk in one of those stores, it doesn't feel like anything changed on the value prop, like it's the same old thing.
You got to imagine any sports merchandise store has to be getting crushed by Fanatics.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can find Nikes anywhere.
Yeah. I agree. That's tough. And look, I guess, short term, like maybe a little annoying for Nike, but it's not a Nike like brand issue, like it sucks that their stock would take a hit on that, but not a brand issue for Nike. If anything, that's such a good sign for Nike. They're carrying all of Foot Locker.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Love it. Okay. What's going on with tourists? We talk about that a lot, about traveling and how traveling is up and everyone seems to be wanting experiences, maybe even more so than certain items. But that seems to not totally be the case, right? What's this article telling us?
Basically saying that the Chinese tourist hasn't come back at the pace that everyone thought. So once COVID restrictions were lifted and you don't have to quarantine to come back, and they haven't traveled. And I'm curious if it's a few things. Wealthy people, I don't even know if they're allowed to leave because China doesn't want their money being removed from the country.
Yeah.
Their economy isn't booming. So maybe the middle class consumer is just a little averse to traveling. And then on top of it, I read this today. Apparently, they limit group travel to America. The Chinese government does.
Oh, like only a certain amount of people.
Right.
Oh, that's tricky. Do you know what the number is?
It didn't say. I'm sure we could find it. But
God, they're such sharks, man. And we're just so lax.
And I there's definitely fear. Like if you leave, you can't come back.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know.
If you haven't gotten your money out, I don't know. Like if you would have thought if you walked around Beverly Hills where all the luxury shops are, that would be mostly Chinese customers, and it's not.
Yeah. I wonder too.
That was the hope, right? as soon as the U.S. consumer starts to slow, the Chinese customer comes in and saves the day.
Yep. Yeah, we thought it would just be a flood.
I've seen some at the Century City Mall.
Yep.
But it's not what I thought it would be, just
I wonder what that
anecdotally. And then the
is.
numbers are like showing it. I don't know.
Yeah.
They may have.
Like, I also wonder if like have they
restrictions.
maybe also like gotten so comfortable at home for 3 years that like they're a little slower to go out and travel, or that's not what that's not what we expected.
Yeah. So Jack Ma got called back. He was in Tokyo, or he's in Japan.
Yeah.
Now he's in China. I think for the ultra wealthy, I don't know if they're allowed to leave.
It's crazy. It's such a different world. Okay.
That's why when we talk about like a lot of international people like to, shit on the climate of America right now.
Yeah.
And sure, we have plenty of problems that need serious fixing. But as far as freedom, there is nowhere in the world that is even close.
Yeah. Not even close. Yeah.
And these are including Western democracies. You can't do what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's like by a landslide.
Think about how much shit we talk about everything on this podcast. There's zero fear when we show up to immigration in America that we'll have any issues. They're like, welcome home.
Yeah. No, none. We trash, and we twice a week make fun of everyone in the government.
Exactly.
And we never think about it. Like, honestly, if I was flying into Beijing today, I would be nervous at that checkout counter. And I know that might be ridiculous, but like I would.
For sure.
But not here. And yeah, I get, I mean, look, I'm America all day. The amount of like, because we also have all the good shit. Like when it comes to like entertainment or, like obviously other cities are really great and it's really great to visit them. But like I would say compared to the world, like we have great, we're up, like we're at the top of the list with entertainment, with things to do, with, whatever. And we have that level of freedom. I think it's pretty wild, but I think that's a conversation that hasn't been cool to have for a little while.
Yeah. And everyone just wants to dunk on the many issues the country has, which is definitely, there's numerous issues. Yeah. But what's the trade-off?
Yep. That's why we need Don back, Big Donnie. I'm kidding. Don't soundbite that. Okay. Last but not least, before we get on to winners, losers, content. Did you see this freaking house?
Unbelievable.
Beyonce and Jay-Z just bought. They just bought the most. Is this right? It's the most expensive home sold in California history.
Yep.
Like $200 million. Apparently, they got it's a steal because it was like listed for 290 or something. Yeah,
when 200 million is a steal.
It's a steal. So they're bargain shoppers, which I respect, and they got this $200 million Malibu home. This thing is nuts. I mean, what a story. Like, Jesus Christ. When it comes to like, I guess, you know what? I'll say that's another only in America story. Like, when you really, I'll just say Jay-Z, because obviously I follow his career a little closer. Like, coming from where he came from to the level of success. Like, I know we went on a little rant about LeBron like a week ago. Yep. But Jay-Z, same thing. Like,
self-admitted drug dealer.
Yes. But like, also then rapper, but like, there's some legal cases with some stabbings and some, there's some shit going on. Like, it's not like, I mean, he was in the trenches and didn't
like
have
real beefs.
Yeah, man. The Nas situation. And we've heard some stories about how wild that actually got behind the scenes. Like, man, there's some wild stuff. And to fucking, this is their second home in California, at least that we know of. There's another one in like Brentwood or something.
I think Bel Air.
That's like, I don't know. That one's like 75 million or something.
Cheap.
cheap, real cheap. That's their, their cheap
That's
weekday
their
house.
let's make sure the kids stay humble and modest.
Yeah. Good point. And I'm sure they have places in New York and whatever. But I mean, geez, when you really look at you look at photos of that house, you look at the $200 million price tag, you look at the most expensive house sold in California history, and looking where really they both, but where they came from and what they rose to, it is nuts.
And the house is in Paradise Cove for people that aren't from LA.
Yep.
It's pretty deep Malibu. So you're talking minimum hour from the main part of the city. And this is the funny part about the $200 million purchase. Their kids go to school out here. So how many days a week are they even going to be there?
Oh my God. I mean, honestly, how many days a year?
And the amount they travel
50?
And they tour, 50 is probably the right number.
That's great.
Maybe 50. Maybe you get 7-day stretch in July because it's 4th of July and they want to soak it in.
That is next level. I mean, props to them, man. That's
and how much money do you have to have if your fourth or fifth home is $200 million?
I know. And it's I don't know, maybe I'm stupid here, real estate people, but it feels to me like when you get up to, I'm sure that house will always be valuable. It is also an asset. I totally get it. But when you get up into that realm of most expensive house ever sold in California, I feel like it gets a little risky. This thing was originally listed for somewhere, I think around $290 million or something. Mm-hmm. And so, someone had an expectation that it would be worth a lot more. And it just feels like you got to really have the money if you're doing that. You're not doing an expensive house, but hey, it's in Bel Air. I know Bel Air is always going to hold value. It's not really that crazy. When you go most expensive house ever sold in California history, that's ballsy, man.
Yeah, they're okay with this being 50% lower because it's also replacement. Who can buy it? How many people in the world could buy a $200 million house? Not many.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so
especially
cool.
in Paradise Cove because it's not going to be most people's primary residence.
It's a niche audience. If you really looked at who's on the list of potential customers, I'd be curious how many people that is because it's not that many.
No. I think Mark Andreessen's the next door neighbor. I think he paid $150.
Broke. Get him out of there.
Isn't that amazing that Jay-Z and Beyonce have a more expensive Malibu house than Mark Andreessen?
I mean, the most expensive in California history. That's so crazy.
And think about the wealth in this state.
That's what I'm saying, man. Okay, well, that's, there's some inspiration for you. If you haven't seen it, Google it, look up the house. It is nuts. And man, I mean, it made me think about what do I call my excuses, what's holding me back, because these
compared
guys.
to Jay-Z and LeBron at age, call it 12, we were at home base. They weren't even up to bat yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And for the record, I'm not even trying to hate on Beyonce. Beyonce also came from a very similar background.
I actually don't know her upbringing. Was it rough?
Well, I just know that's what I'm saying is I don't know it as detailed as I know Jay-Z, so I don't really want to speak on it. But I know that they didn't have money. The dad wasn't in the entertainment business. There was no cheap head start.
I get it. Yeah, no, totally.
That was hard work is what really did that.
Forget cheap head start. These guys didn't even know where they were going to sleep when they were kids.
Yeah.
Jay-Z and LeBron.
Yeah. Well, now Jay-Z also doesn't know where he's going to sleep because he has too many options. All right. Well, props to them. And there's some inspiration for you leading into the end of the week. Whatever your excuse is, maybe take another look at it because Jay-Z just bought a $200 million house. You ready for the wrap up? Winners, losers content?
Let's do it.
Who's your winner of the week?
So despite the Lakers getting swept and not making the finals, LeBron's my winner, and I'll tell you why.
That's fair.
LeBron in the post-game press conference hinted at retirement, saying he needs to reflect on what he wants to do with basketball. He's not retiring. Everyone
Nope, no.
knows it. And he did it, and I'm convinced, to control the media for the next 2 weeks while the finals are happening. So if you turn on ESPN or Fox Sports or any sports publication, he is the only thing everyone's talking about. Everyone's like, is LeBron going to retire? What do the Lakers need to do? And he's just a genius at just making sure he's the most relevant thing.
Yeah, that's a good take. Because the other take I heard that it was really good was that, he's putting pressure on the Lakers to build a team that can win championships.
Even if that's, it's still, that's probably true.
Two birds, one
stone. He also knows he's just going to be the most talked about thing in basketball while the NBA finals are going on.
Yeah. How sick is it to be able to, I mean, he didn't really say much. He just said, like, I have a lot to think about when it comes to next year. Like, like pretty basic. And it's just like everyone in a frenzy.
And then, after the press conference, he leaked to two of the inside LeBron guys, I'm considering retirement. And they both reported it.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that privately and gave those two reporters the layup to go viral.
That'd be fun. It'd be fun if you were LeBron to like be able to have that much, even if you were just bored and you're like, hey, I'm going to say that, blah, blah, blah. And just watch the media go nuts for a week.
Yeah.
He had so much power to control that narrative. Okay, that's valid.
Yeah.
Good winner. My winner, I just want to revisit Michael Block. He is the, PGA Tour pro that we talked about that made it to the tournament last week and had an insane hole-in-one and just really like took over the story of that whole tournament. Now he's been given a sponsorship exemption to play in, I think, this week's tournament, which is a big deal. He got a text from Michael Jordan.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so this guy, I mean, just went from literally teaching golf lessons for $150 to talking to Michael Jordan, and now he's playing back-to-back tours or back-to-back tournaments. But also, like, to Dee's point, is the amount of people that texted me this week saying like that could be me is really funny. And like every golf post I see is like, only in golf, man, only in golf. And like it just, what he did, his earned media value for the sport of golf in the last week has been through the roof. So props to that dude.
No, it's such a cool story. And I know we talked about it on Sunday, but when you actually think about it, he was a golf pro at a public course.
Yeah.
That like any of us could go and he'd greet us as like the head golf pro.
Yeah. $150. Go get a quick lesson. I might wait like a year and just head down and get a lesson from him. He'll probably be back doing his thing.
Hey, now he's going to be at the Jordan course.
Yeah, you're right. I got to get to that course. That sounds like what I'm talking about here. Do you have to tuck in there?
No, I was told by an insider who's played there, said, tell Drama he needs to get over to the Jordan course. It's basketball shorts and T-shirts.
Oh, son of a bitch. I'm there. Is it in Florida? Where's that?
In Florida. And he said it's the most famous people and it's all pros. So even the pros that have to pretend in the sport to act like a jackass with their tucked in shirts go to the Jordan course and are wearing basketball shorts and T-shirts.
Get the fuck out of here. Golf pros are some of the most, when it comes to like the personal stories, the private stories of the private lives of pro golfers, they're not all buttoned up with their shirts tucked in. Okay. These guys are wild.
They're wild.
You're not fooling anybody.
And you could make the argument outside of Augusta, the Jordan course is the most exclusive course in the country.
Yeah.
And they're wearing basketball shorts and T-shirts.
Now we're talking. Okay. Well, that's my winner. Who's your loser?
My losers, man, AI is nuts. So I think this week's loser from AI are designers. No offense to designers out there listening. Mm-hmm. So the chief product officer of Adobe put out this video how you can just take a picture and then type in, if you have like a picture of a deer in the wild, you type in, I want the deer to be in a wet puddle. Boom, just changes with their generative AI fill. Jeez. And they did like 4 different examples of how I'm probably the least creative / design person in the world, but it gave me the confidence that I could go on Adobe and fuck around and create some cool art.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a problem. If
That's a
Anand's starting to
problem.
gain design confidence, that's a problem. You're right.
Yeah, you should check it out.
Okay.
The guy's name is Scott Belsky on Twitter, and he released it.
Also, ChatGPT just released the mobile app last Friday. It's really great.
Yeah.
It's just great.
The mobile app's awesome.
Did you hear the Kendrick Lamar line? Even AI's got to practice copying Kendrick.
Yeah, I did. That's pretty hot.
So good.
Really good.
My loser, you know what? I'll kind of piggyback off of your statement. I'll say that my loser is the rest of the Lakers other than LeBron. So,
Yeah.
you know, I know all you sports fans out there might not like this. Doesn't matter. It does seem like LeBron, like the guy just needs some support. You know what I mean? Like even in the first half of that fourth game, like I just don't know what more you can ask for, you know, like especially at his age even. And I don't know. I feel like he's been a little unlucky in his career with consistent counterparts. And look, I think the Lakers did such a great job, obviously going from like no chance of even making it to really being competitive, but they got to get some people around this guy and go on a run, you know, before it's too late, before he's too old.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's pretty much my age. He's 84 born. I'm 83. And he has to play. He pretty much played the entire game yesterday or 2 days ago. And it's unfair. You gotta treat the king better.
I agree. It's just like, come on, we all want to see it. Like I really got into this series and it sucked. And now I understand why D's a fucking bandwagon. You know, D's probably a Nuggets fan as of this morning. And I get it because that feeling sucks. You buy into it, then your team gets swept and now it's over. And now you have to wait a year to get back to maybe this feeling again. I
was legitimately bummed.
Yeah, me
after
too.
Game
And I don't
3.
even,
when it was 3-0, no one's ever come back from 3-0 in the history of the NBA. So I was bummed.
Yeah, I don't like it. So Lakers, we need to fix it. We still have time. You could have a couple good years of a real run with LeBron and the supporting cast and oh my gosh, maybe another star. But let's get it together. This week, you're losers. What do you got for content?
So it's really not my content, but you know, because I don't get mind being bullied, it's for D.
Yeah.
I think the Fast movie comes out this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fair. That was a nice thing you did.
Yeah. See, I'm always taking the high road.
You really are. When they go low, you go high, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Real Michelle Obama over here.
Thank you.
Okay, that's good. Mine is, I know I've talked about this one a lot, but I believe this weekend is the series finale of Succession.
Yeah.
So it's a sad day for me. I love that show. And the fact that it's going to be gone forever makes me sad. But it'll be a great weekend and all good things come to an end.
Are you watching live? Because I'm still behind. I have
I'm
to catch
up to date, but like I just finished last week's episode last night.
Okay.
So like I watched a third of it on Sunday night and then I got back to it another night and then I finished it last night. So it depends, but Sunday I'll definitely watch Sunday night. Okay. Here's a question. We got a question, one of our Kathy questions. So make sure you where are we sending these questions? Discord? Where are we sending these, Ari?
Discord, YouTube, Instagram, DMs,
in the comments.
Twitter, add us, anywhere.
Okay, great.
We'll
Okay,
collect
so
them.
if you got any questions, fire them off. We're going to slowly answer them. Sometimes we'll be able to do more. D's out again. So we're going to choose one that's fun and, things with like real advice or something like that. I'll wait for all of us. But here's a question coming from, I lost it. Oh, Anna_smile7. She wants to know who would be the first to move out of state and where?
What's the answer?
I mean, I think not that it's at all likely whatsoever or even something I would consider, but I think it's probably me. You guys have families.
That's true, but we've always had this dream of at least doing like a year in London.
That is true. That
family.
is true. I forgot about that. Anand's most likely.
I don't know if it's realistic right now. It's not realistic right now, I can tell you that much, but maybe down the road it is. Don't know.
Anand's most likely. That's true. Because I was just saying that because I don't have a family here, but you've always had that dream, and I could totally see you like when your kids are older and you and Amanda either like they're maybe they go off to college and you and Amanda definitely do it, or they get older and they're down to go on the journey. But you guys have talked about that, and you travel so much. I feel like that'd be pretty easy for you.
Where would you move if you were to think of anywhere?
I don't, somewhere with like one of those like low tax states, Austin.
Really?
Miami.
You would do Austin? There's no way you would like Austin.
No, that's why I said I don't think it's very like Miami.
I mean, I think you would at least know enough people.
Half the year, Miami. I don't know. I can't
6
imagine
months,
it.
one day.
But, you know, I have thought about, especially when they're talking about like raising taxes in California and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Is there a world where I could do something like that? I don't know. But I don't think so. Puerto Rico. Go with all the fugitives and convicts
say, like,
and fucking
those,
crypto
like,
millionaires.
I don't know if there's crypto millionaires anymore.
That's true. Well,
At least
yeah,
in Puerto Rico.
but not very realistic for me. I think for you, that's actually very realistic. For D, no chance.
Zero chance.
D's not going anywhere. He likes
he may
his,
move to Huntington Beach.
at best. But I think the
With
fact
his
that D
new
literally
political-
walks around this
with
city
his
with
new
no fucking
political
wallet and
leanings.
gets, still has a day like he's a king. He's not leaving that.
We may see D in a march in Huntington Beach.
We might give it a few years.
Years. Talk about the next election cycle.
You're right. Wait till November. Oh man, I love it. Okay, well that's our answer, Anna. So if anyone has questions, let them rip. The team is combing and looking for them, and this is something that we want to get better at. But this is what keeps happening. We want to do it when we're all together on Sunday, but then we end up going on a tinfoil hat rant, and it goes too long, and we don't get to it. So we will chip away at these. They're really great, and there's some serious ones in here that are probably great to answer, but we just need a little bit more time. Any shout outs?
No shout outs for me.
Oh, we got one. What's this one in the email? Akash, from Akash and Mike
do.
to Adesh. They're both Chatty Cathy Discord members. And congrats to Adesh on running your first half marathon. And stop being a loser and become a Chatty Cathy member. I agree.
Like that. Yeah.
Akash and Mike are smart guys, and I think you should listen to them. And sounds like you're being a loser. So there you go. Wise words. Okay, that's all we got. Everyone have a great rest of your week. We will see you on Sunday, and take care.